Hey guys, Fig Nukin Records back here again with another video. Today's topic, we're going to do 10 underrated prog epics. So let's start off with number one. Now these are kind of in no order. How about The Gamer by Windmill on the 2013 album, The Continuation? It's a mixed kind of Floyd-style soft prog rock to heavy guitar and synth-heavy, more modern prog rock, I'd say. Kind of a mix of all that. Vocals aren't my favorite, but it kind of fits the music well. I mean, Prog, it's kind of always had not the greatest vocals for kind of its whole history, I'd say. Eloy and Gentle Giant, stuff like that, which is very kind of eclectic, I'd say. But I mean, the instrumental is great during the whole thing, and overall theme of the song kind of resonates with me, being a gamer myself, especially when I was in high school, because talking about, kind of stepping away from that, which, basically all I did in high school. All right, how about number two, Isle of the Broken Tree, Evership, from their 2018 album, Evership 2. The intro to this track, it's killer. It's epic, beautiful, and powerful, all in kind of like one. It's a great start to the song, which is great in itself. Instrumental is amazing, gives me kind of like a 70s vibe, definitely. In the beginning of the track, more. Then around probably a third into the track, it's getting a little heavy, man, and vocals are like changed completely, not in a bad way. They just become more powerful, I'd say. Then it goes back to more of a softer rock later in the track, and remains beautiful and very 70s if you like Yes, Floyd, and maybe even like a little bit of Cats in Space, which is more modern. I think you definitely like that track. Number three, I might botch this, but Morquette 3 by Arabs and Aspic off their 2017 album, which I might botch again. Sindines Magi, I don't know how to say it. Probably one of my favorite modern prog bands, and they definitely have that very classic 70s sound. For this album, they kind of went a bit different than their past few, using their native tongue, and it's great nonetheless. I mean, this is a 20-minute epic. It's definitely a great example of kind of that really perfect 70s prog that you could ask for. It's soft, psychedelic, but it's still unique. Not just like that classic 70s sound. It's not like you're gonna be like, oh man, these guys are just ripping off these bands. No, they have their own sound, but it's still really, really reminiscent of the time. And you can always kind of tell it's Arabs and Aspic. I think that's really how unique they are. It's got great keys, instrumental, and it's honestly just easy listening prog music. Next up, maybe getting a little bit away from the easy listening. How about The Ivory Gates of Dreams by Fates Warning on their 1988 album No Exit? Definitely one of the most popular bands on this list, but I never really see this song kind of on any like classic prog metal epic like lists or anything like that. So if we're gonna mention it here, honestly, probably one of my favorite songs by the band overall. It's heavy and just, it's great. Granted, it's a little bit dated sounding, but you can really tell where one of my favorite bands, Threshold, got their early sound. Their early sound definitely leans more towards this. Later, it's a little bit more towards the modern prog metal, but that early stuff, you can really tell, especially from this song. Also really like the vocals on the album mixed with the more 80s heavy metal instrumental. I think it really makes it kind of a unique song, because basically one of the earliest incarnations of prog metal. So I think it's really, really unique, and it's definitely a must listen to. And it's something you don't really hear from the similar groups of the time. Kind of this, in my eye, is probably the first true prog metal epic. Because when you look at bands like Queensryche and like they were making prog, but they weren't making like really long epics. And you look at Wasp as well with their album The Crimson Idol, kind of earlier. It's a little later, but it's kind of in that same realm of sound, I'd say. And then you have, I guess if you want to say Rush, then I guess there's some of those early prog metal epics, but I think really the real prog metal, like Queensryche and Fate's Warning, kind of started there. All right, and then how about another one I'm going to mess up? Malmok Jarnok by Thy Catafalque. I don't know how you say that. On their 2016 album Meta, or it might be Meta. I don't know. This is probably the most unique on the list, being very, very avant-garde. It contains like black metal, electronica, soft rock. I mean, it really does everything you need. And if you appreciate like lots of metal genres, you know, I mean, it's basically avant-garde. So if you like avant-garde, black metal, death metal, maybe even a little bit of folk metal, I mean, it's really just one of the most unique sounding bands out there is that Falke, or however you say it. And they just released a new album that's really, really good as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about this track in depth with how unique it is. I think you just got to check it out and, you know, comment down below if you like the song. Next up, we have Sleeping Traffic by Beardfish on their 2008 album, Sleeping in Traffic Part 2. This one's kind of tough because I do see it sometimes mentioned, but honestly, for me, not enough. Probably one of my favorite songs of all time. It's so unique and expansive. I never lose interest over its 35 minutes of great music. There's soft rock. I mean, there's pirate metal, disco, bit of that zany rock that Zappa did. I mean, it's just good. Tells a unique, somewhat convoluted story, but it really succeeds at what it does. And I believe the track should be up there with Octavarium, 2112, Close to the Edge, those kind of prog epics. Now this one, next up, a little bit out of prog maybe. It's avant-garde and space rocky, so I guess it kind of fits in there, but I figured I'd include it on my list. It's Forced in the Third System by Acid Mother's Temple on their 2016 album, Wake to the New Dawn of Another Astro Area. Kind of had to include this song because it's their most cohesive song, most likely. I mean, it's really well done. There's orchestral bits. There's there's orchestral bits. There's like kind of a normal singing, I'd say, more than just like a scream here and there. The effects, the spacey effects, don't really take over the track, I'd say, which is really, really good, I think. But it's still got that avant-garde, spacey nature. It does have some soft space rock and some very interesting layered vocals as well. The latter part of the album, also of the album itself, that is contained on is actually some less frantic guitar than usual. Acid Mother Temple, overall one of my favorites from the band, this song and album. But we'll talk about that on a later Acid Mother's Monday video, most likely. How about this one from Art Rock Supremes? Man, this title is long. Tao of the Dead Part 2, Strange News from Another Planet. By And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead. This is on their 2012 album, Tao of the Dead. From this band, you kind of expect a short Soundwall filled art rock. You have a song with a title longer than any other, and almost as long as their name. This one's almost probably might be the longest from them, actually. The first side of the album is, I guess, considered part one of the track, but it's kind of separated. I've seen it more separated than this track, so I'm going to count this track as more going to what this video is about. This track is definitely more like what you'd want from the band. It's very, very And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead. I mean, they have their iconic sound. This definitely follows that. It's interlaced kind of with those spacey and nice soft interludes that are really, really nice and kind of break up their Soundwall-y effect, which I think is really, really nice for being such a long song. I feel like if you just got Soundwall, like punky, I mean, it's like post-punk. I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. The band is very, very unique. Honestly, probably one of my favorite from the bands. So I had to include it on here. Next up, how about Routine Maintenance from Bubble Math on their 2017 album Edit Peptide. This is definitely one of the shorter ones, but it's a track that kind of made me want to make this whole video. I think it's really, really unique, and it's got such great vocals, and some definitely wouldn't like it, but I think it really, really fits the music well. I mean, the music reminds me of that kind of prog metal Gentle Giant. It's catchy, weird, eclectic, but very, very good. And some parts of the song just get stuck in my head, just drilled in there. I can't get it out. I mean, the instrumental in between like vocals or vocal harmonies or whatever you want to say, vocal parts are great, proggy, heavy instrumental that kind of keeps you engaged the whole time. It's not really going to be a track that's going to wander off too much off path, but when it does, it really keeps you there. And around the 8-minute mark for me is what I really, really like. There's the one singer sings it more of an aggressive manner, which is probably my favorite parts of the song. I definitely recommend this track. Last up, definitely the shortest song, under 10 minutes actually, but I had to include one of my favorites. This is White Car by Cosmograph on his 2014 album Capacitor. I mean, overall, just underrated artist. I just needed to include it. I mean, it tells a great story, pretty awesome, unique vocals that I think may be very decisive for whether you like him or not, but the instrumental is so chill. It's easy listening. I mean, then it kind of goes to this heavy bass filled track that gets even more and more into the track, while having also these Gilmore-esque screams that makes it really enjoyable for me. And overall, I mean, when you pair it with the actual album Capacitor, I mean, it's awesome. And then you got, I think on this track, you have the weird cat lyric, but I mean, it's hilarious. So, yeah, that's all 10 of my tracks. So I want to have one honorable mention, and that's The Ocean by Galleon, because that's one of the ones I was also thinking about when I was making this list, but for some reason I forgot it. So that's a great track. That's almost it might be over an hour. I can't remember at this point in time, but man, it's a long song, but it's really, really good. I highly suggest you give it a listen. Well, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe. Adios.